I'm Clare Johnson, Head of Marketing for Keynote, brand new to the team, I think of a couple of months. This is Snoek from Tykn, one of our fantastic sponsors here at this event. And we're here to have a conversation, a fireside chat about the complicated notion of diversity and what it means both to us personally in our organisations and to the blockchain community in general. So at Keynote, as a team, we've been talking about diversity a lot. We're highly aware of the underrepresentation of women and other minority groups in blockchain, and we're really keen to understand what it would take to make some meaningful progress in this area. What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it mean to us personally, professionally, and then as a blockchain ecosystem in general? So the first thing we started to do was think about what is diversity? What does it actually mean? It's a word that's bandied around a lot. It's something that's obviously important to people, but really what does it mean to us? And put simply, diversity just means a range of different inputs into something. So in the context of blockchain, what does that look like? And we came up with three key areas. The first being diverse thinking, meaning a range of different perspectives coming in, lived experience and perspectives contributing to something. And they need to cross gender and race and culture and belief systems and age and ability. They need to be reflective of the communities that we actually live in. We then thought diverse industries and value chains are important. So this means a range of solutions from different companies and industries and regions coming together to communicate and share digital assets seamlessly. And then thirdly, we need diverse application of blockchain. So whether it's security or tokenization or regulation, governance, data management, smart contracts, whatever we're talking about, these applications need to be diverse. And of course, the more diverse thinking that we have feeding in to the community, the more diverse industries feeding in, the more diverse the applications will be, and the more innovative the innovations emerging will become. So diversity in this sense makes sense. Firstly, because it's fair, it's just how things should be. Discrimination of any sort is not acceptable. Secondly, though, blockchain really should be the perfect space for this kind of thinking. Inclusivity and diversity should thrive. The underlying spirit of blockchain lies in decentralization and low barriers to participation and collaboration. And thirdly, we've been viewing blockchain as like a living system. And for living systems to adapt and thrive and evolve, they need divergent parts. They need lots of different things feeding into them. They then need open and transparent relationships. And the more we have of this, the more self-integrating the system's going to become, leading to a really robust and whole community and ecosystem. So today and this week, and as part of WBFLondon, we are introducing to you all the Keynote Fund. It's a new $6 million fund that we are launching to support diversity in the blockchain industry. It exists to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to proactively participate in the development and the evolution of blockchain. And we're looking at providing opportunities to work and learn and develop, regardless of age or disability or gender or identity or sexual orientation or any other equality characteristic. We want every person to look at the blockchain company or an event such as this and feel really welcome and like they have a place. So over the last 6 years, Keynote has invested $3 million into the education of young people in blockchain in marginalised and underrepresented populations. And since 2013, all students have been welcome to attend and exhibit at conferences such as this. What the Keynote Fund will now do is help us to continue and extend this kind of support, and we're inviting perspectives from a really diverse range of people from across the globe to participate and become part of the conversations that we're having at events such as this. This year, in particular, we're looking at encouraging applications to either speak or volunteer or attend our global conferences from young people, from women, from people in ethnic minority groups, and also people with disabilities. We're highly aware that these groups are really underrepresented in the blockchain industry, and the sector will really benefit from this kind of unique perspective and lived experience coming to the conversation. And this is what leads me to invite Jimmy to have a fireside chat with me today. We met in Amsterdam a few weeks ago when I was visiting my new Keynote team for the first time at Mo's place on the canals. And as a team, and with Jimmy there, we started talking about these kind of things in a very candid and open way, and trying to understand, personally, coming from all different parts of the world and having had such different experiences of life and coming from outside of the blockchain ecosystem as well, what does this really look and feel like? And Jimmy had a very interesting perspective, being the co-founder of Tykn, who's doing some amazing work where they are dedicated to absolving the world of invisible children by providing blockchain-based legal identity tools. So I thought I'd kick off the conversation by asking Jimmy for you to explain a little bit about what Tykn does, but also to give a sense of what diversity means to you personally, what it means to the organisation, and then wider, how does it fit into the blockchain community for you?
Sure. Thank you for the intro. I'll keep the talks about Tykn short, because my co-founder and the CEO of Tykn, Tykn, he's going to be giving a keynote tomorrow about Tykn. But basically what we're doing is we're helping governments and NGOs help people better by giving them an identification platform for the expedition of humanitarian aid. So we're doing this right now with the Dutch Red Cross, who are going to be taking what we've built for them to St. Martin on Thursday for about 3 weeks of testing. It's all very exciting. In the meantime, we're working with all these different NGOs and different projects to have an overarching system for these NGOs so that they don't have to go through this duplication of registrations. But more on that tomorrow. You'll hear more of that from Tay and his story as the Invisible Man. But I think what's also special about Tykn, from what we've been trying to do with Tykn, is create diversity within the team. And it started from the beginning, right? So the three co-founders, as we're already completely, we're from different backgrounds. So Tay is a Syrian refugee who's grown up in Lebanon. Khalid is Dutch Moroccan. And I myself am Dutch, even though I don't really sound like it. And then the rest of the team, I think we have, I was counting it yesterday, I think just about 10 different nationalities in the team. Even though we're relatively small still. And there's no, I don't think there's even like an overlap of nationalities. That is how diverse we are. And I think it helps so much in not just running the company, but also have all these different ideas, all these different perspectives. And I think talking about diversity, just to make a little observation as a testament to the problem and how this is a problem that should be acknowledged in the space as a whole, and just, I think, not just the blockchain space, but just everywhere, is that as soon as we started talking about diversity, about 35 people left. Like, don't worry, I remember the faces, so you can kick them out next time. But it's true, it is still a big problem, because I saw you had some figures there.
Yeah.
And
so
if you can...
4% of venture capital goes to companies with a female CEO, and 73% of people employed in UK fintech are white males.
Which isn't entirely surprising, right? I mean, especially if we look at the blockchain space. And I mean, we're still super early in this. So it's not weird that there's such a low variance in the population within the space, because it's tech for one, and then it came from a very specific niche within tech, which, you know, you're gonna have the people already in the tech, which is male dominated, white male dominated. So this is something that we have to grow past, I think. And it's going to take some stimulation, which is why I think it's fantastic that you guys set up this fund. And you did it so quickly, because like you said, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago,
yeah.
And then, you know, here we are, and you're launching the fund.
Yeah.
And you have to stimulate that, and you have to stimulate it from a small minority to be able to grow it. I was reading, what's it called, Skin in the Game by Nassim Taleb. At some point, he talks about this probabilistic societal, yeah, I see some people that have read it, some societal argument called the minority rule. which poses that you don't always need to have a vast majority. Well, like we always talk about 51% attacks and 51% this and that, but to make a societal change, that you don't always need that majority. Like, to give it some kind of metaphor, you know, you have a white bucket of paint. To make it blue, you only have to put in a couple drops of blue dye, and then suddenly you have a more even spread. You get a more blue paint, and I think that's what we have to go. So we have to drip feed this diversity into the space, and then suddenly you'll see that it will start to grow. It will start to normalize.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where we're heading now, because it is normalizing. The space is spreading, and the space is getting more diverse.
Something we're really trying to do at Keynote is open up the kind of conversations we're having around blockchain. So it's not just a tech conversation anymore, it's something, the impact runs really deep and will affect all sorts of sectors and people and workplaces. And so we're just trying to invite people into the conversation through different entry points. And I think that's as important when it comes to the diversity conversation as anything else.
Yeah. And I think you guys have been doing a great job. I mean, I think, 90% of your team is female as well?
Yes, there are a lot of women,
yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, according to various theories even, it's a female-dominated management team will run a more efficient company.
And we're from all around the world, so we're all based in different cities, and none of us are specialised in blockchain either. So I think that makes for a really good starting point to invite new and different kinds of people into the conversation, and that's where we're heading with this fund. Today is an invitation to anyone, whether it's an individual or a community group or a corporate, a social impact or social enterprise organisation, to come and connect with us and start the conversation. We're not sure exactly where and how we can have impact in this space, but we know we can't do it on our own, and it needs to be a conversation and a collaboration. So today is the beginning of that conversation, and we'll be working with organisations like Tykn and others to really understand what we can do to make meaningful progress with the diversity conversation and move it forward.
I think you guys already started to make that change. Because I mean, you're putting an example out there by having a mostly female management team, and see how efficiently you operate, you know, this entire operation of events. And then also with these kind of funds, but also the anti-harassment policy that you have, which I personally have liked a lot, seeing it from different events, and it's like everyone has to feel safe. So if you want to make an inclusive environment, you can't have the people that you want to include feel unsafe in this space. So especially in you know, an industry which is male dominated, there's a lot of testosterone. Let's not lie about it. There's a lot of testosterone, and that might get in the way of the inclusiveness, which goes to it goes to the sexual jokes and the sexual comments, which is, you know, really, if you want to make a space inclusive, it's a no-go, right? Like, everyone has to feel at ease, everyone has to be able to participate, and I'm really glad that I see you guys really pushing that.
Thank you. Yeah, we're passionate about it. So thank you all for listening, and please do get in touch with myself or anyone on the Keynote team if you've got some ideas of how we could start diversifying the conversation, at least within the blockchain community. And we look forward to reporting back to you in a year's time to let you know how we've spent this money and what it looks like and how things might have changed.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, nicely done.